So on my iPad here, I will go to the first one, which is Oak Pasture Lane. And I'm now in the summary view. And I will go down to heating system. And I will show you how to add both a picture and an image. So in this particular screen, if I go down to the camera icon, which is on the lower part, there's three icons. There's a camera, a album, which is to retrieve pictures off of your device that you've already taken, and a sketch. So I'm going to go on the left hand of those three, click the camera. And this is my heating system in my building. It's a baseboard water heater. So I clicked the camera image, took the picture. And now on the lower right-hand side, it says Use. I'm going to click Use. And now that picture that I just took has been added to the image gallery. And you'll see that the title says Heating Systems, because I was in the heating system when I took that picture. So that picture automatically got associated with the heating system. You can reassociate it if you want to with a different title, but that's the default. And somebody asked before about the table below the pictures. That table gets automatically filled in, and you'll see that in the photo file it says heating system. Again, you can click on the picture itself. After I save this, that gives you the ability to annotate. And I'm going to just put an arrow in here, and I'm going to do it real wide, and I'm going to do it in green. And again, you can put in arrows or straight lines or freeform or whatever you need to. And I'm going to save that. So now I have that image saved as part of the heating system. And now I'm going to go back out.
Thanks. I just wanted them to, yeah, yep. I just wanted to see them. I wanted them to see how to do that right from that. Thanks.
So one other thing that you can do is a sketch. So I clicked on the right-hand side, and now you just get a blank page. And I'm going to do it in black, but I can sketch now. And I can do straight lines, you know, whatever makes sense, and save that as well. So it acts just like an annotation, except it isn't on top of a picture. We'll save that, and now I have these two pictures that are part of the heating system. Is that sufficient, Laura? So we'll go on.
Yes, thanks. That's exactly what I wanted you to show.
Okay, great. Thanks. So we're going to, my notes here, talk about the factory setting. The font size, again, was something that I know we've had people ask about, and that's why we moved it to the front here. So there's a font size plus and minus. We talked about that. I'm going to go back to the minus and drop it 2 points. So it's very easy to adjust. You can adjust it on the fly. Maybe in some cases you want it bigger than in other cases, and you can switch back and forth. Makes it easy. Okay, so we'll go into one of the audits. You know, one of the things that I'm not going to talk about very much, because I don't have an answer for you. You have to answer it within your own organization. Actually, let's go to, I went to insulation, but let's go to heating system. Would be a better example. And actually, let me get back up. So in this particular case, I have two heating systems. And if I click on all the data within the first one, you'll see it turn blue. If I click on that, it will go to that form. If I scroll it, you'll see the blue went away. Second one, if I just release, it will go to that form. If I scroll it, it will go away. So you can click on each one of those to open up the form. So we'll click on the first one, open up the form, and now you have a set of questions. And this is common for all of the data entry. In this case, there's a fuel type and a system type, year installed, and so on. What I can't do is define exactly how you're going to do the data collection and how to interpret it. So for example, on regular maintenance, there are two answers, yes or no. I'm not the one to define how you interpret yes or no. I think your program has to do that. Or filter maintenance, yes or no. If it's a little bit dirty, is that a no? Or if it's a really dirty, it's a no. I think you guys have to define that within each of your programs to determine what defines the answer. So system condition, same kind of thing, good, fair, or poor. So my intent is to have an app that has the ability to capture the data, but we aren't trying to define how you run your program or how you define those things. Some of them are clearly qualitative instead of quantitative, in which case whatever guidance you're using is fine. In some cases, like in this one, there are multiple select that are tied together. So I'll come back and create a new heating system to show that as an example. So I'm going to go up to Heating Systems, click on the plus sign, and I created a new heating system. And what you see now is there's only one real data entry, which is fuel type. Everything below fuel type isn't shown. And it won't be shown until I enter the fuel type. So in this case, I'm going to say it's electric. And now you'll see everything else shows up after I've selected electric, including the system type. The system type list is dependent on what you selected for fuel type. So if I look at the list of system types for electric fuel, you'll see that it's all stuff that is intended for electric heating. So you don't see things that you would see with oil heat or gas heat. So that's a situation where one entry is dependent on the other. So don't be surprised by us kind of starting out here where there's, gee, none of the data elements are shown. They aren't shown for a reason. And in this case, it's because there's built-in logic to expose the data fields as they're needed. Another example would be attics. Not save that. Go to attic. So if I show access type, I remember now, it's been a while. Oh yeah, so if it's no access, there's no other questions. But if there is some kind of access, a stair access, then it'll ask you what condition the door is in. So another case of logic that's built in that tries to identify what other questions to show you in an intelligent way.
Rich?
Yes.
Will you click on the attic cavity R value, that little green check, so they can see how that is computed?
Yes. So in the cases of R values in particular, there are calculators that are built in. So I'm going to come back in this case. There is this green check mark which indicates that there is a calculator that is being used to come up with that R16 value. Now you can enter that value yourself and put in an R23 or whatever you want to, but a better way to do it is to actually use the calculator, which then provides additional definition. So if I click it on the green arrow, I get this calculator which shows what kind of insulation, how thick it is, and uses a lookup table to determine the R value. So in this case, I want to change this to 7 inches of cellulose loose. And what you'll see is that the R16 turned to an R22. And if I change that from cellulose to batt, that 7 inches is R18.2. The value of this is that I just provided additional documentation to say this is fiberglass batt that's 7 inches thick, and that represents R of 18.2. To close this calculator and to apply it, you do the up arrow, just like you did the check mark to open it, you do the up arrow, and it's going to ask you whether or not you want to apply that 18.2. I'm going to say yes, and now what you see is a green check mark with an R of 18.2. As importantly, if I click on the red, green check mark, it opens it up and says, oh, well, this was fiberglass bat 7 inches thick. So it provides both an automatic way of calculating and documentation.
I got a question.
Rich,
Yes.
I do too. Go ahead.
Oh, Rich, this is Brian. Let's say you just wanted to change it from R18 to R32 at the top. Do you still have to hit that little arrow to say save it? That little up arrow?
If you just want to, if I just want to enter it here,
Yeah. Do you still have to hit that little arrow?
if I do this, I got to
Just
think myself.
automatically saves it, maybe.
So I just did that and just clicked anywhere else on the form. The green arrow disappears because you're no longer using the calculator. You're just entering it manually.
All right, gotcha. Thank you.
Laura, you had a question?
I did. So, you know, a lot of attics will have a door access and one area and a pull down. So, are there multiple places for the attic access to be indicated for the different types of attic access that can exist?
There is not for attic insulation.
No,
for the access. So right now we only have one option for that.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
all I
one of
could
the
find.
things that I would certainly like feedback from you and others is that what other data needs to be collected in the case of access type. You know, do you often run into 2 or 3 access types, and do we need to have a way of adding that kind of additional data?
I would say that definitely is one that's important.
Okay.
We find multiple attics with multiple different types and thicknesses of insulation and different types of accesses. So if it could be like the heating system where you could add up to 3 or so, you know, different attic spaces, that would be really helpful.
Okay. Well, that's good feedback. I mean, we can probably add that ability to have moldable entries just like we have included in heating and cooling systems. You know, with the heating and cooling systems, there's a clear way to do that. With attic and wall, there isn't right now. And I guess the question that I'd like, you know, a response back from all of you is that true of attics and walls and foundations? You know, how far do we go on down that path?
Definitely attics. I mean, you know, we can think through the other ones, but the attic, you know, first of all, in one attic space, there can be 3 different ways to access it. But then also, a lot of houses will have 2 or 3 kind of separate attic systems.
Okay. Okay.
One other thing, you have a comment field there too that could take any kind of.
Yeah. I mean, the immediate answer to that is to add something in the comment field to capture that. But certainly long term, if there's a need for expanding the ability to capture moldable attic sections, we can look at doing that. One of the good things about this particular app is that we've designed it to be pretty flexible. It's not trivial to add things like that, but we have a structure that's pretty solid to be able to expand out sections into moldable sections, just like, you know, we're doing with the heating systems where there's multiples.
Rich,
good comment.
Here, just for consistency's sake on the attics, again, attic access, one says walk up and the other one says stairs. Now, we have